All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever felt like you're drowning in a new learning challenge, maybe you're just starting university or tackling a big project, this one's for you. We're going to talk about how to build your very own system for studying smarter, not just harder.
And this quote, it really says it all. Success isn't about having some fixed magic level of intelligence. It's about figuring out the methods and the tools that work for you and unlock the way your brain works best.
I bet this sounds familiar. You know, the study habits that got you all the way through high school? All of a sudden, they just don't cut it anymore. The sheer volume and complexity of the information you're needing just demands a totally new game plan.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This isn't about finding some one-size-fits-all solution. It's about becoming an architect, intentionally designing a system piece by piece that's perfectly tailored to your brain and your goals.
Okay, first things first. Let's just bust a huge myth right now. We're always told to study hard, but honestly, that advice can be a real trap.
Here's the deal. You have to stop being just a student and start being the CEO of your own education. It's a huge shift, right? You're going from passively getting information to actively planning, monitoring, and even evaluating your own learning. This is what's known as self-regulated learning, and it is a total game changer. And to be a good manager, you've got to know the asset you're working with, and that's your own brain. This is where a little self-awareness is going to go a long, long way.
Now, you've probably run into learning styles before, and the VARK model is one of the most popular ways to think about them. Look, it's not a set of strict rules, but it's a fantastic tool for self-reflection, for just noticing what your natural tendencies are.
So, for example, visual learners. They really get it when they can see the connections. You know, if you're the kind of person who just automatically starts drawing flowcharts and mind maps to understand something, this is probably you.
Auditory learners, on the other hand, find that information doesn't really sink in until they hear it or say it themselves. I mean, it could be as simple as just reading a tough paragraph out loud to yourself to make it finally stick.
Then you've got your reading and writing learners. For these folks, the magic happens when they turn ideas into words. It's not just about copying down notes, it's the actual act of writing that helps them make sense of everything. And finally, we have kinesthetic learners. They learn by doing. A concept just stays fuzzy and abstract for them until they can get their hands on it, whether that's pacing around the room while memorizing facts or building a physical model to see how something actually works.
So, okay, you've thought about your preferences, you kind of know where you lean, but what if I told you that's really just the tip of the iceberg? There's a much deeper, more powerful principle at work here.
And this is a really important question. I mean, is it really that simple? Does a visual learner just need to look at diagrams all day, and an auditory learner just listen to lectures, and that's it? Well, the research is pretty clear on this, and the answer is no. Just matching your preferred style doesn't actually make a huge difference in your results. So what does? What's the real secret?
This, right here, this is the real game changer. Cognitive load theory. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Think of your working memory kind of like the RAM in your computer. If you try to run too many programs at once or open a file that's way too big, it just crashes. Smart learning is all about managing that mental bandwidth.
So let's break that down. Intrinsic load is just how difficult the subject is. You can't really change that. Calculus is just harder than basic arithmetic. Extraneous load, now that's the enemy. That's all the junk that gets in the way. A noisy coffee shop, a confusing textbook, a cluttered presentation. Your main goal is to crush that extraneous load. Why? So you can free up all that precious mental energy for germane load. That's the good stuff, where you're actually making connections and deep learning happens.
So, with that theory in our back pocket, how do we actually put it into practice? Well, it starts with realizing that managing cognitive load isn't just in your head. It's about taking control of your environment.
I mean, look at that number, 16%. That's huge. Your study space isn't just a place. It's a tool for learning. A poorly lit room, your roommate's music blasting, that's pure extraneous load. Getting your environment right can literally boost your grades.
And the same idea applies to your social setting. It's not about which is better, group study or solo study. The smartest learners are strategic about it. They use a group to brainstorm and get clarification, but when it's time for deep, focused work, they go into solo mode.
And this is a big one. The same logic applies to your materials. A physical book can be way better for really digging into a dense, complicated topic. Digital, of course, offers incredible flexibility and searchability. The key is to match the format to the task, not just go with what's easiest.
don't try to read a 50-page academic paper on your phone while getting notifications. That's just asking for trouble.
Okay, so we've got your mind sorted, we've designed your space. Now let's talk about the digital tools that can really pull this all together and make your life easier.
Let me tell you, trying to manage all your articles and citations manually is a massive source of that bad extraneous cognitive load. Tools like these, Zotero, Mendeley, EndNote, they just take all that pain away. Seriously, for most students, Zotero is the place to start. It's free, it's powerful, and it will save you so much time.
And here's how you can visualize it all working together. A great workflow isn't just a random collection of apps. It's a process, a system. You gather your information, you process it by highlighting and making notes, you organize everything, you create your paper or project, and then, this part is so important, you reflect and review. Each step should feed right into the next one.
Phew, we've covered the science, the environment, and the tools, so now it's your turn. It's time to take all these pieces and start drafting your own personal blueprint for learning.
Look, if you only remember 3 things from all this, make it these. First, stop worrying about a fixed learning style. Focus on managing your cognitive load instead. Second, be the architect of your study environment. Control your physical and your social space. And third, don't just download a bunch of apps. Build a workflow where your tools actually work together seamlessly.
Building a system like this doesn't happen overnight. It's a project. So here's my question for you. What's the very first, small, manageable brick you're going to lay? Is it downloading Zotero? Is it cleaning off your desk? Maybe it's just blocking out 1 hour of distraction-free time. Pick one thing and start there, today.